the biggest, most prestigious event in our sporting calendar. Yet it's beyond sport. Witness history in the making. The 1999 Melbourne Cup Carnival, live and exclusive, starts Saturday on 10. For over 137 years, it has captured the heart and soul of all Australians. It's the biggest, most prestigious event in our sporting calendar. Yet, it's beyond sport. It's a tradition steeped in our blood, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Only one network can bring you all the emotion of history in the making. The 1999 Melbourne Cup Day, live and exclusive, starts 10 a.m. Tuesday on 10.
Welcome to the Melbourne Cup at fabulous Flemington and the end of a century of magic moments. It has become more than the race that stops a nation. It stops our hearts as well. From the adrenaline rush through our veins as the gates fly open, to the thunder of the home straight and the twinkle in our eyes as history is made before.
Dug deep and found the stuff the champions are made of.
It's a sense of pride, of being there. It's a breathtaking 3-minute ride of emotions that will end in either agony or ecstasy, but will always be worth the price of the journey.
Might and Power, the leader. Doremus is coming at him. Doremus after Might and Power. Might and Power and Doremus, they hit it.
From modern-day marvels to a bolt of lightning that became a national hero, the quest for the Golden Chalice begins today. Welcome to Derby Day, the greatest day of racing on the Australian turf calendar. A day when the champions of the future take their first steps towards immortality. And the dreams of racing's elite will be unfolded for all to see.
Arena hit the lead in the Derby. It's drawn away from Lawyer. Sky Heights and Arena's coming away. Arena wins the Derby by 2.5 lengths.
The excitement, the colour, the passion. From the marquees to the mounting yard, this is Australian racing at its finest. Welcome to the 1999 Melbourne Cup Carnival, live and exclusive to Network 10.
Back and the big one is underway. As they come down the straight the first time. They're going up on the outside. Got 2,000 metres left to travel.
Roses are blooming. All sorts of vehicles are rolling into the car park. The Champers is on ice. And we are set for one of the great days of racing on the Australian turf calendar. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Flemington, Australia's international racecourse on Amy Victoria Derby Day. A race meeting for the purists, but also the first day of a week-long party. Well, today marks the start of the 1999 Melbourne Cup Carnival, with the day regarded traditionally as the greatest single day of racing on the Australian turf calendar. And shortly I'll be joined by a panel of experts, Jenny Chapman, Richard Friedman and John Letts, to talk about the Spring Carnival, today's racing and of course the all-important Foster's Melbourne Cup on Tuesday. But today is much more than just another race meeting. It's an event. It attracts all sorts of people for all sorts of reasons. To help set the scene, here's a lady with her finger on the pulse of what's going on, where and with whom. In the Channel 10 marquee in the members' car park, a very good morning to the beautiful Sandra Sully.
Good morning, Peter. Yes, I'm very excited to be part again of this year's Melbourne Cup Carnival. It's going to be A wonderful week full of fun and festivities as always. And nowhere more so than the traditional Derby Eve Ball, which was, of course, last night for all the young members. It's a great night out and a must-do on the social event calendar this year and every year. As you can see, hundreds of people turning out. I somewhat suspect they may be giving the Barocca reserves a bit of a nudge, as they'll be doing throughout the week, but I guess many of us may be in the same boat. Many of the young members will be making their way out here today, but as you can see, they had a great time last night. Now, loads of celebrities will be popping by the marquee this week to drop in and say good day. Some of those coming by today include designer Katie Davenport, aromatherapy queen Natalie Bloom, American singing sensation Martina McBride, and we must point to an interview on Tuesday with the Australian round-the-world solo yachtsman Jesse Martin. He's going to be coming by, so we're really looking forward to catching up with him. But now over to the birdcage, where today's runners are stable before their big races, and to a man who has an enormous passion for horses, as we know, our very own Tim Webster. Good morning, Tim.
Morning, Sandra. Indeed, I do. In fact, I spend as much time out here with the horses as I possibly can. Good morning to you. Good morning to our millions of viewers around Australia and indeed around the world. This year, we're joined by cable viewers throughout North America, Canada and the USA for all 4 days of the Carnival. So welcome to you, of course, and we hope you enjoy it. Of course, Melbourne Cup Day is Tuesday. For us, it's the first Tuesday in November. For you, it's the first Monday night in November. It's a 3,200-metre race, or 2 miles, and it's a handicap. There doesn't seem to be any handicap to people coming here to Flemington from Australia, indeed from right around the world. It's really become a truly international event, not just the Melbourne Cup, but all 4 days. Last year, 285,000 people came through these turnstiles, and given a little bit of good weather, we can expect record attendances again, I'm sure. But of course, it's not just about racing this 4 days. It is one great big fashion parade, and keeping an eye on the beautiful people at Flemington is our Lynn Talbot.
Well, thank you, Tim. And you are a man with a keen eye for fashion, so you would have seen just how diverse and beautiful the latest looks are. I guess to summarise, I'd have to say femininity, but there are many styles and many influences that we'll see here on the lawns of Flemington. Traditionally, Derby Day features a lot of the colours black and white, but it's also Gentleman's Day, so expect to see some dapper-looking fellas as well as the ladies out here. But of course, the scene will change dramatically for Cup Day. Cup Day is a day where anything goes in the fashion stakes. Oaks Day brings out ladies in their stylish traditional outfits. They're quite beautiful. Oaks Day, look forward to that on Thursday. And of course, Stakes Day is probably pared down a little more casual. But look, I'll be bringing you glimpses of what the best dressed are wearing out here on Flemington in Myers Fashions on the Field. I'll also be doing some inspirational interviews with some of Australia's best fashion designers and bringing you some of the fun from Flemington's most notorious party zone, the birdcage. Looking forward to it. But what is this weather doing? Let's find out from the very fashionable, questionably fashionable Tim Bailey.
Fashionable? Well, there's a first for everything, isn't there, folks? Welcome to famous Flemington, the course of history, and there he is behind me in bronze, Farlap, the legend. Now, if this isn't the greatest week in Australian sport, we don't know what is. The big question at the moment is not how to find a winner. What is the weather going to do? Are we going to need this dastardly fellow or not? Up or down? Well, the Weather Bureau, as we check it for you, says probably. We have got a cloudy one, rain at times, and a top of 23. Now, as always, we've got to thank the VRC, the Victorian Racing Club. Yes, but also the VRC, the very reliable camera. It will bring you the famous faces, all the fun places of the Cup Carnival races. It goes to places it shouldn't be allowed into and gets the results. Looking forward to bringing you all the colour and the character of the Melbourne Cup Carnival, starting with Derby Day. But right now, here's
English
Peter
Carbine Club Stakes, 1,600 metres at 11.25. Take out number 15, My Grenadier. And also, I believe, number 1 Over comes out as well. And so no rider changes from race 1. Race 2 is the Shivers Regal, and it starts at 5 minutes after 12. The scratching there is number 6 Harley and a field of 8 to run. Third event, the Saab Quality over 2,500 metres at 12.45. And here there are no scratchings, 14 running. Race 4, the Hardy Brothers Classic at 1.25. Take out number 9, the Bartered Bride. 18 Fellowship and 19 Fortunata, 9, 18 and 19, leaving a field of 16. Race 5, the Qantas Wakeful Stakes, Group 2, 2,000 metres at 2:05 is clear, a field of 13. The big one, the Amy Victoria Derby, worth $1 million at 2.45. Group 1, all clear, 16 running. The Group 1 Louis Vuitton McKinnon Stakes is race 7 at 3:25. An important scratching here. Northern Drake hasn't come up after that injury that kept him out of the Cox Plate last week. So he's out, number 3, Northern Drake, in a field of 13. Race 8 is the Salinger Stakes, the third of the Group 1 treble. Take out 17 Charmseen Land and 18 Della Vista, a field of 16 to run. And race 9 is the Yallumby Stud Stakes, and that is all clear of scratchings, and a field of 13 to face the starter in the final event on the card. Well, there has been a lot of betting activity going on over Melbourne Cup carnivals of the past couple of years. Remember, there was a huge plunge in the Amy Victoria Derby going back to 1993 with Mahogany. We're going to check out the tote figures as they stand on the big one of the day, the Amy Victoria Derby, and then we'll be heading down to the betting ring along with Tim Gossage to find out exactly what is going on down there very shortly. But as we survey this beautiful scene here at Flemington, we look forward to what we've already described as one of the great days of racing. Shogun Lodge is $3.50 on Super Tad. This is for a $1 investment. Freemason 12, Diatribe 6.80, Blackfriars 5. Good odds about the Derby Trial winner Troubadour 52, Chief Scout 13, Royal Integrity 47, Liberty Hall 8.20, Cloth of Gold 7.50. So you can see the favourite is highlighted in Shogun Lodge. Chiming Door 55, Big Odds Tariyama. Campamani's is one that will have its fair share of supporters today at 33, Unlimiting 97, and then you're looking over the $100 mark for Happy Festival, Duty Officer and a Rock of the Ages. They are Super Tab dividends for $1. And of course the Amy Victoria Derby, the big one, coming up later on this afternoon at 2:45. Well, as I said, there's going to be plenty of activity on the tape, plenty of activity in the betting ring. Will we see a repetition of that massive plunge on Mahogany going back in the Amy Victoria Derby 6 years ago? If we do, here's the fella who's going to keep us up to date with everything that's happening. Tim Gossage, good morning to you, Timothy.
Yeah, good morning, Peter. Great to be back here again this year. And as you mentioned, over the years, there has been some enthralling battles between the bookmakers and the punters. In 1993, Mahogany, that plunge led, of course, by Kerry Packer and Lloyd Williams. And those two men, of course, have struck gold on Cup Day over the last couple of years with Might and Power and Jezebel. They've literally taken millions out of the bookies' bags with those plunges on Cup Day. But today is Derby Day. Notoriously, it is a great punting day and an intriguing day between the bookmakers and the punters. The tip is that Blackfriars and Shogun Lodge will certainly open up the pronounced favourites in the bookmakers' ring. Talking to a few bagmen today, they've said they're going to take on Shane Dye and Shogun Lodge, but they're going to take on Shane Dye not just today, but over the next 4 days of the carnival. It is a fantastic atmosphere already. The boards are being set for the first race, and Pete, over the next 4 days, I'll bring you the blow-by-blow description between the bookies and the punters.
Big Timothy Gossage keeping an eye on things down in the betting ring and also releasing a few moths from that wallet, no doubt, throughout the afternoon. Well, the big one coming up later on, $650,000 in prize money to the winner of the Amy Victoria Derby today, and also a beautiful trophy worth $5,000. It is one of the most sought-after trophies in Australian racing and will guarantee that horse's future for a long time. Let's take our first break. As we do, we're going to have a look at Milton Black's prognostications for the carnival today. We're off and running in 1999 at Flemington.